Good morning, good afternoon, welcome everybody back to Dialar's Twi'lek Tactics. Now, I haven't done an updated guide video to my who should I Hyperevolve, who should I take to exclusive 30, so I thought I'd do it because I think it's been over a month since I did the last one. So I think this might take us right there. No, it doesn't. Let me pull it up. There we go. Okay, so this spreadsheet, you can't really read the text on this. If you want to see what the text says, it's just some little tips. We'll talk about a little bit of it. The spreadsheet, the master spreadsheet, is linked in the description of this video, and it's linked in the description of all my videos. So this information is always accessible to you. You can see it real time as I update it. So I built this sheet as kind of like a one-stop shop for exclusive 30 and Hyper Evolution, because the two of them are kind of paired together. So if you are really good at this game, or if you spend a lot of money at this game, you can get 3 SSS Hyper Evolution crystals. Well, there's 3 available for free to play. So you get one or you get all 3 from Twilight Lands, from stages 1 through 15, and then you get another one from completing 16-1 through 16-10, and then if you are in the top 5 at Twilight Lands, you can get another one. So I know this last Twilight Lands was the Assassins, and you needed Fiona. It was really hard. I have completed free-to-play, or on my free-to-play account, I think it was the one with Summoners. I think I just eventually ground and pounded it down. But you can get a couple Hyper Evolution crystals per month. But red runes if you're free-to-play. And those are what you need to take a hero to X30. Those are a little bit more difficult. Free to play, you're going to get about 1 hero a month. Now, the game releases 2, so you're always going to be behind the curve as a free to play in taking heroes up to exclusive 30. So as such, I think it's time to kind of put this video out there so you guys have an updated list of who to go for, who is actually worthy of pumping those red runes into, and who is worthy of taking up to Hyper Evolution 120. Okay, all the preamble aside, that was 2 minutes of me jibber jabbering. So this sheet is basically built for both. So how it works is that everybody, it's broken up by teams, right? Because in this game, it's all about team synergy. It's all about class synergy for pretty much everything now. A few people are mix and match and plug and play. But for the most part, they are still going to be running with a team, and as such, you kind of want to pick a team, build it, and then move on to the next team. So that's how this is all built. So you're going to see 3 of the best heroes, or the 3 best heroes in each class. And how it's prioritized is the heroes that are on the far left side, or the first column. Those are ones that you must X30. So like Northeon, you have to X30 of him because of all of the stat benefits that he gets, but he is also, his X30 is also a facilitator, so it actually makes it so that energy characters do or proc these lightning bolts, which does extra damage. Dan, you know, you need his X30 because then it's going to boost the damage of all the summons. Ryzeris, well, Ryzeris doesn't really help everybody. Pandemonium, I do believe his X30 helps everybody. Don't quote me, it's been a while since I've read all these, but ideally the first column is who you want to work on. So let's just kind of start at the top and work our way down. So out of the energy class, I would definitely prioritize Northeon as your first X30 if you can get him, if you were around when you got him free to play, or if you bought him for $200 in the recent Nord packs. Pandemonium, you definitely want him. You want him to be your first tank X30 because it gives him survivability, and the key to the tank content is if Pandemonium dies, your team is dead. You know, you need to keep him alive. As such, you really do need the X30 for his stats, but then I do believe his X30 is really good as well. You see I have here Panda X30 needed for PvP, so must have some PvP applications, good for PvE tank content. Ryzeris, when you, it says here, or I said here, Ryzeris X30 is needed for PvP because it gives her a resurrection, basically a cheat death. X20 is okay for PvE, and then I said she is actually needed for DISA X levels, which is true. Her and Ryzeris are needed for the X levels. As such, they're ones you need to do. Barog, is a must X30 as well for damage and survivability. And if you were going to run Vanguards in Thundercliff, and I do think that the higher levels of Thundercliff aren't going to work for Assassins, so as such, I think you're going to want to X30 your Barog first before you do your other Vanguard. Now, Assassins, okay, Caraxia. If you have her, you're going to X30 her anyway, being that she's the best character in the game. That's a no-brainer. I don't really have to discuss her. Now, the other two, I did have Bailey on here as the third before. So Dominic, well, let's go down to Dan. Dan, you have to X30 first. Fiona, you have to X30 first, okay? All right, so after you get all those done, after you get Fiona, Dan, Caraxia, well, or not Caraxia, Barog, Ryzeris, Pandemonium, Northeon, then we got our second column heroes. Now, Jaina is a must for X30, absolutely. She is a glass cannon. She needs the stats for survivability, but also she gains a lot of power when you take her to X30, and she's needed for Guild Hunt Spider Boss, as is Nord. Luke, not so much anymore. I actually got to update that. Teresh, yes, you definitely want Teresh's X30 for the survivability and for the ability. Rebecca, she's the second best hunter. Some people argue she's the first best. You definitely want her X30. Leo, now, I had a little bit of a conflict of conscience last night after I did my tier guide video because I put Ares ahead of Leo, and thinking about it, you know, I tossed and turned in bed and I was thinking about it and I was like, I really shouldn't have done that. Now, I know I kind of succumbed to peer pressure because everybody was sending me these screenshots of how good an IMO 5 X30 Ares is, and I believe it. But the 99.8% of the EE population is not going to have an IMO 5 Ares. They're just not. So at IMO 5, he might be higher than Leo. But then I was thinking, okay, where is Ares used for? He's used for Thundercliff, and you can run him as basically a frontliner tank for your assassins, right? Okay. And on the Vanguard team. Okay. And you need him for the extra points on Endless Battle. Whatever. Leo, though. Leo, you can use as a frontliner in Twilight Lands. I don't think you're going to use Ares as a frontliner in Twilight Lands on different teams. You can run Leo as your frontliner on an energy team. I run Leo as a frontliner on my hunter team. People used to run Leo as a frontliner before Durali. Like, Leo's... his damage has fallen off, but his kit is still really, really good because he can push to the backline and kill backline characters, even though we got a few people that do that now. Well, Assassins always did it, but Teresh does that now too. Even Ares kind of does that now too. But Leo, he'll get back there and he'll spin to win, and he'll disrupt the entire enemy team, and then he cheats death twice if you got a Miranda. So I did put Leo back ahead of Ares. Dominic is one of the big damage facilitators. He's the him and Rickert are really the 1A, 1B, or 2A, 2B now under Caraxia. You want, so if you want to clear all the content in this game, if you want to just use Assassins and just annihilate everything, then you're gonna need Dominic at X30. You just are. Can you get away with him? Not at just at X20? Well, you can, but X30 is really what's going to ramp up that damage. If you had, say, like 100,000 attack power Dominic, at X30, you can pump the damage into the mark and get it up to a 10 million damage hit, or explosion, or AoE explosion. You really, really do. Plus, you really want that extra attack from his all the levels, taking him up to X30. Doralee, say, now Doralee's a different case. I say you have to do it because of PvP. And really, if I was going to put any 3 summoners on this one, I'm not going to put Sorvali on there. I'm not going to put Skur and Hattie on there. I'm not going to put Colossi on there, even though other people have done those X30s. Doralee, her X30 is pretty much mandatory if you're going to run her in PvP. Plus, it gives her the more stats. It gives Doragon more stats. Makes him a better tank. But the rest of her kit, like the buffing of damage on summoners and summoned creatures, you're going to get that regardless of X20 or X30. But if you're PvP, I'd say you definitely want to prioritize her. Miranda, you need Miranda's X30. You just do. It gives you the second injection, which is the second huge damage buff, which is a second cheat death. Yes, you have to. Fiona, yeah, her X30 is... It seemed weak at first on paper. It seemed really weak. Fiona's X30 is just another round of immunity, but the way the immunities all line up, it really makes the assassins damn near invulnerable for a good chunk of the battle. So while don't go rushing to get her X30 I'd say is mandatory out of the support units. Again, we just touched on Miranda. And now let's go up to the top. Now I have a yellow bar beside Luke because even though Luke's X30 is really good, the next energy cycle is likely going to give us a hero that replaces Luke. So I wouldn't, at this point, if you're a new player, I probably wouldn't X30 Luke. Now, say if you're an endgame player and you're just about to get Luke to Immortal, you could consider it because you're probably, if it took you that long to get him to Immortal, then you're probably going to take a while to get the new energy hero to Immortal. So, but that again, if you're free to play, you're not going to have the red runes. So let me say this: if you're free to play, don't spend red runes to take Luke to X30 anymore. If you have him close to Immortal and you're a spender and you can get more red runes, then consider it. But buyer beware, okay? Because he might be sitting on the bench just like Ravenna. I have Ravenna and Luke both at X30, and I will never use Ravenna again because I'm not a spider hitter. Wamagon, he is a must. You got to take him to X30. Like I said, Wamagon X30 is good everywhere in a tank team, outside of a tank team. Stats, ability, everything good. Wamagon, good. But I would prioritize Panda first. Moriami, she is the third best hunter. Now, you could make an argument for having Emma here, but really Emma is only used in Disa Caves and the Hunter Endless battle. But really she's been replaced by, yeah. Ryzeros, Rebecca, and Moriami are the trifecta if you really want a good hunter team. You can sub Prigor in here. You might be able to sub Emma in here. Now, I have Moriami X30. But, like I said, she's got a little red indicator beside her telling you don't do it. I did it because I had a whole lot of extra red runes lying around. Plus, I also spend in this game. But I don't recommend you do it. But as of right now, if you wanted to have a third, if your hunters were your jam and you wanted the best hunter team in the game, you would do Moriami at this point. But also keep in mind that we are going to get a replacement for her quite soon, actually. Because we're going to get a summoner next, then we're going to get an energy, and then we're going to get a hunter. Or in that, jumble those up, those three units. So Moriami at that point will probably get replaced. So and then it'll just be wasted resources. Ares, we already discussed Ares. I think at this point, I got him with a yellow indicator. I would say, if you're not a whale, and you're not going to take him up to higher immortal levels, not just Immortal 0, I kind of wish I could take back those red runes on him because I'm not going to use him for much. As of right now, until he gets more developed, those red runes are kind of wasted. Will they be good in the future? Probably, but right now, buyer beware, just kind of like Luke. He's not going to get replaced anytime soon because we just came out of the Vanguard cycle. But I don't think that his X30 is really that spectacular. Now, Rickard, on the other hand, is fabulous. You have to, if you're going to do Dominic, at this point you have to do Rickard. Why? Because Rickard, he's the facilitator for extra attack. And Dominic is a facilitator for big nukes. And you need Dominic you need just assassins in general to give Rickard his crit rate as well. But Rickard's soul swords that go out to all the other assassins are going to ramp up the damage of your entire team. So Rickard is definitely one you want to take to X30 just for the stats and the ability. Just do it. Ampu is a must in my opinion. Still, even though he's such an old character, like almost, 8 months-ish? 9 months-ish? So his X30 gives your corpse explosions. And if you don't know what that is, every time a summoned unit dies, they have a chance, based on his accuracy, to proc an explosion based on Ampu's attack value. Now, what his X30 does is it gives you a chance to do 2 corpse explosions. So it basically, his X30 effectively doubles his corpse explosion damage. And it does a significant portion of damage, especially if you pair him with Sorvali. So his X30 is pretty much mandatory. You're not getting down, unless you're running an assassin team, you're not getting down Crimson Abyss high levels without an X30 Ampu, because he's going to be the damage dealer. So he's a mandatory. You have to do him. And Masrani as well. You have to do Masrani X30. You're going to get him early on in the game. He's going to be one of your first X30s. He just is. Probably Dan's going to be one of your first ones too. Probably Leo, because I think Leo's now a starter character. Masrani's X30 basically doubles his heal. Plus it gives him more HP, which makes his heals bigger. Not a whole lot, taking him from X20 to X30, but it doubles his heal. So it makes him a true AoE massive healer. His X30 is a must. So I would say all of the heroes on this list are X30 worthy, with the notable exceptions that you may want to skip or hold off for now. Ares, Moriami, and Luke. Actually, don't do Moriami. That if you don't have her done already, that ship has sailed. You're going to have to wait for the next hunter. Luke, again, I'm going to have to say the same thing. I think I'm actually going to have to make this red, because more that I think about it, he's going to get replaced. If you don't have him X30 right now, don't do it. That ship has sailed as well. And this list kind of also works. The next part of this video is Hyper Evolution. So who do you spend your SSS Hyper Evolved crystals on? Your what is it? Mark II SSS Hyper Evolved crystal, I think is what it's called, or something along those lines. You basically want to follow the same order. So you want Nord first if you have Nord. You want Panda first of the tanks if you have Panda. In my opinion, you want to do Ryzeris first. In my opinion, you want to do same thing. Caraxia, of course, if you have her, you're going to Hyper Evolve her. Dan, he has to be the first one Hyper Evolved on the Summoner team. There is a little bit of an argument that you want to do Ampu before Durali. But, what are you getting? Hyper Evolving Ampu, you're getting basically another 10% attack and HP, whereas Durali, again, you're getting 10% HP and damage reduction is the main stats for Durali. These two, for Hyper Evolved, I don't really think it matters. But do Daniel first. I do not recommend, that's what this big box up here is, this big yellow box at the top of the screen. I do not recommend Hyper Evolving supports before all of your attackers. Your attackers are going to gain more benefit from Hyper Evolved than supports. All you're doing is when you're giving supports Hyper Evolved is you're giving them 10% more HP, you're giving them 10% more damage reduction, but you're giving them 10% more attack, which is effectively useless because their attack values are so small. Whereas you give anyone else, you take them up to Hyper 120, like say, let's just pick on Ryzeris. That more HP, good. She's a hunter. She needs more HP. More damage reduction, good. She needs it. But that extra 10% attack from Hyper Evolved 1 to 120 is mandatory. If you're gonna run a hunter team, you want them to have all the attack values. Would you not put resources into the attack guild tech? Yes, you would, because you have to, right? So that's why I always say do the attackers first. And I basically call tanks attackers as well. Hyper Evolution crystals spent on your supports, in my opinion, is wasted. You don't need it. You don't. Prove me wrong in the comments. With math. Not just with, I Hyper Evolved and it's good now. No, that's not going to cut it. I need some concrete evidence, because it's... No, don't do it. No. If you do it, if you do decide to Hyper Evolve your supports, then...
How dare you?
Yeah, shame on you.
How dare you? How dare you?
Okay. And, again, Hyper Evolve for column 2 or 3. Who would I Hyper Evolve? Definitely Ampu, definitely Rickert, definitely Wamagon. Again, just like X30s, I would hold off on Luke. I don't do Moriami. Don't do Ares at this time. I did it because I take every new hero up to X30 Hyper Evolved. But don't do it. Don't you do it. These resources, X30s and Hyperevolves, are so rare and so precious. You really have to be picky and choosy about who you use them on. And if I was just going to do an overall best heroes to Hyperevolve, I'm going to have to say Northion. Well, Caraxi number 1. But aside, Northion, Panda, Dan. Ooh, now it gets tricky. Maybe Dominic or Rickert, maybe Barag, you know. So let's just say Northion, Panda, and Dan, and then basically pick whatever team you're going to build and focus on them for X30s and for Hyper Evolutions. So, ladies and gentlemen, this resource, again, is linked in the description of this video. It is on my master spreadsheet. It is called X30 Hyperevolve. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, put them down in the comment section below. The safe word of the day is quiver. Quiver. Not the shake. Not the, you know, when you're doing the O face. But it's because I saw Emma here, and I thought Hunter, and I was, like, doing some word association in my head. And, you know, hunters have quivers, even though she's shooting arrows, but she doesn't have a quiver. She needs a quiver. So put, you know, just don't mind me. I'm dumb. All right. Till next time, everybody. Cheers, peace, bye-bye.